Good afternoon and welcome to our coverage of the final day's play of the BMW PGA Championship here at Wentworth. Many of the best known players in the game have triumphed in this, the European Tour's flagship event. But when the year has ended in 8, it's been won by a great. 30 years ago, a man who would win 6 majors took the title.
And what a way to finish in front of the grandstand, just knocking it up and into the hole. Brilliant stuff from Nick Faldo, and the crowd applaud and applaud, and we love it all.
20 years ago, a future Masters champion won it.
Well holed. Oh, that's almost the best shot he's played all day. Great, but Woosnam back with a bang.
And 10 years ago, an 8-time Order of Merit winner celebrated.
Just like that. Well, they don't come much better than that.
So we've heard the ones about the Englishman, the Welshman and the Scotsman, but which country will dominate in 2008? Will Sweden secure its first success courtesy of the overnight leader?
See, now will that do? See that? What about that then, the old boy? Get in, my beauty.
Or will it be Spain's turn for the first time in 5 years?
That'll drop down. No, it's not holding its line beautifully. He's holding a couple of rattling good putts today.
Will England make it 2 wins out of the last 3?
Did it very well.
Or will an Indian golfer win for the very first time?
And it goes 69 for Randhawa, and that may well lift him up high up the leaderboard come the end of the day's play.
Will Argentina succeed for the 2nd time in 4 tournaments?
Oh, he's got it on the ledge. Beautiful shot.
Or will Ireland claim their first crown for 50 years?
Oh, you little beauty.
Whoever wins this year's event will have to overcome not only the pressure of the event, but also now dreadful playing conditions. The breezy, sunny weather of the first 3 days has been replaced by dark skies and rain. So, a reminder of how the leaderboard looked when the players surfaced this morning. Robert Carlton turned a 4-shot deficit yesterday into a 4-shot lead. Miguel Angel Jimenez and Oliver Wilson were on 7 under after his 79. The leader at the halfway stage, Paul McGinley, was a further shot adrift, as were Daniel Vanchik and Jyoti Randhawa. Well, we saw yesterday how quickly a 4-shot lead can evaporate, so it's certainly not over yet. Long way to go. Let's have a look at the final day pairings. Paul McGinley plays with the Argentinian Daniel Vanchik, who started with a bogey, a par at the first for Paul. Oliver Wilson has been runner-up 3 times already this season and searching for his maiden tour win. He tees it up with Jyoti Randhawa, one of only 3 players to shoot under 70 yesterday. And our final group sees Robert Carlson aiming to be the first Swede to win the PGA, alongside Miguel Angel Jimenez, looking to be the 3rd oldest winner of the tournament. Just a few seconds ago, Robert Carlson, who finished 3rd in his last 2 tournaments, was on the first tee. A round of applause, and straight down the middle. Good start for the Swede. So the leader in the BMW PGA Championship is off and running. But where will the challenge come from? The strongest start this morning of those on the periphery of contention came from Anders Romero, the Argentinian, who went so close, of course, to winning the Open Championship, had 5 straight birdies after a bogey at the first, and he's now at 6 under par. Alejandro Cañizares is also at 6 under. Good start from him as well. Luke Donald, 3 under for today, as is Mark Warren, the Scot. Further down, Simon Dyson, going well. So you'll see on my right-hand side our commentary team here at Wentworth this week, Andrew Cotter, Ken Brown and Peter Alliss.
The creme de la creme. The delicious. And your forecasting is about as good as my putting. It's getting brighter, weather-wise. Well, that is a relief. Top match on the first. And there's much for you to savour this afternoon. There's 3 or 4 different scenarios could happen. And, well, with the way Romero's trundling on it, if he should put in a great finish, he might set a target that they may not be able to reach. But it all depends, so much depends on the opening holes for these this final pair. Carlson 4 ahead, and Wilson, Jimenez. Romero now has crept up to 3rd spot, and he's still got 6 or 7 holes, 5 or 6 holes left to play. And oh no, that's not the place to be. Not the place to be. Paul Eales will be taking us around the course with this match, and Paul, not the place to be.
No, unfortunately for Miguel, too close to the front edge, so just pops it down to the bottom of the valley here.
That's where his drive finished yesterday or the day before. A huge drive down there, the bottom of the hill, just left him a pitch up to the green. But here's an opportunity, a possible opportunity for Carlson to go further ahead. What sort of shot from the top of the hill, Paul?
Well, it's a perfect tee shot, just what he would have wanted, an opening shot into the fairway there. He's got 214 yards to go. It's warming up nicely here and not a breath of wind. The pin's cut back on the right-hand side, so he'll just be aiming at the middle of the green and hoping just to move it gently from left to right. About a 5 iron.
5 iron. It's a very inviting target, particularly on a calm day like this. You see the green up ahead on the right, framed by those beautiful trees. Bunker left, big drop away on the right here, goes down about 20 or 30 feet into a big pit bunker, rough tracks around the back of the green where the spectators go. But a good, clean, straight hit with the 5 iron. He's done that millions of times before. You see the flags at the back there, absolutely limp. Ideal, Paul.
Yes, it is, Peter, and Robert's played some fantastic golf this year. 8th place in the Masters, as did his playing partner as well, so used to being at the top end. 5 iron for Robert.
Now, is he going to carry far enough? Has he hoiked it left? He has, and it's... If it's down there, that's not a very good opening shot at all. He was strong, a bit nervy, turned the club face over and pulled it left. Not a sweet start, Ken.
No, a nervy one, because tee to green this week he's been as sound as anyone. Quite a big target. The green's a little softer this morning, quite heavy rains. Are on courses today. John Hawksworth out with Jyoti Randhawa and Oliver Wilson. Paul Eales with the final match. Miguel Angel Jimenez and Robert Carlson, and Phil Parkin, the Welshman, with Paul McGinley and Daniel Vancic.
.151, Jyoti into the second here, 9 iron, plays a little bit downhill, no breeze.
Flag today is tucked away on the right hand side, only 4 paces from trouble, and that's a safe one. Big tree on the left. It got blasted by a few autumn winds and spring gales, and a few branches been knocked up. A little bit easier shot now, opened up on the right.
Same club for Oliver Wilson, 9 iron. Both got off to a great start. Just move it ideally slightly left to right.
Steady, steady, okay. For those of you very good amateur players, just to remind you, we've had a note from David Hill from the RNA, who's in charge of Open Championship entries. The last day you can enter is Thursday, the 29th. So just watch Jimenez play his 3rd shot up to the first green.
Just see how soft they are this morning. Yes, I thought so. Very different.
Long putt for Wilson at the second. No. The Open Chantry entries, the close for the amateurs this Thursday the 29th. Scratch or better. You have to have a handicap of scratch or better. Obviously you enter it to the R&A at St Andrews. News that Greg Norman, the great Australian who was #1 in the world for so many years, he's just entered. And so has Tiger Woods. He's put his entry form in. So you'll be in pretty good company. But you've got to get your entry in. Of course, there's pre-qualifying and there's all sorts of things to go. So 2,000 or 3,000 entries now for our Open Championship, whittled down to about 150 final runners this year at Birkdale, Royal Birkdale.
Excellent marksman, a former son of a army general, lives in New Delhi.
All those hobbies, it's a wonder he's got time for golf. This for a 2. Slipping wide? No. Good 3. Nice. Solid putt. Good player. There's several good players now emerging from the India, that part of the world. Some of the oldest golf courses in the world started out in India years ago.
Well, Robert's been in 6 bunkers this week. He's got up and down 4 times. He's got a nice lie here. Pin and the green well above him. Awkward length of shot.
He's got quite a nice strike. Got it to move forward. Have that to save his par.
It's asking a lot to hold a 10-12 footer for a par on the opening hole, but it's been done before. Also, this on the 28th of May, the Lagonda Trophy takes place at the Gog Magog course near Cambridge. That's a splendid event for amateurs.
I wonder why the scoring was so much better on the third. Well, the tees we moved 50 yards up today. Yesterday it was the hardest hole. Much easier. Oh, what a little gem from Paul McGinley.
That's better. I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't play a very good round today. Sort of, I hesitate to say back in his comfort zone or out of the limelight, but I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't put together a very good score to challenge Carlson there, who's making a little bit of at this moment, a shaky start. He's got to putt the hole at the first, which would ease the worries. Jimenez also putting for a par 4, so if they both miss, they'll be dropping back to the pack.
I've always found this back right-hand corner difficult to putt to from here. It's always a little slower than you would imagine coming back up the hill, but Miguel's experienced enough to know what he's doing. This to save his par.
Go on.
Oh. He's a tiger.
That's just a little booster, just the one you need.
Little wink at the caddy there, did you see that? Yeah. Right, okay. He's become a very good player. Actually, he didn't do much before he got to 30 years of age, Ken. He was about that when he first sort of appeared, wasn't he?
He's come flying through. He's now won 14 times on the European Tour because he's runner-up in the US Open. He's the 3rd oldest winner. In his last 2 PGAs, he's finished 3rd and 5th. So in his early days at Wentworth, he struggled a bit, but he's finding his way.
Now then, Carlson, just a little from right to left.
Yes, Robert knows that he's in for a day, certainly after that one. Miguel's not going to go anywhere. He's going to hang around, so come on, Robert. Roll this one in right to left, a little bit up the hill. Settle you down.
Little nervy.
Overdone, overborrowed. The perfect drive to take 5. It gnaws at you. You just see that was, tennis people would call it unforced error, whatever that really means. But whatever it was, it was. I've got a rubber out already. I've got.
Pars at the first and the second, a great chance at the third for McGinley. Well done.
Good hole to birdie the third, no matter which tee they play off. It's Always a very good hole to birdie.
Carlson dropping a stroke at the first. Dropped back to 10 under. Good birdie for Paul McGinley. Moves into that group at 7 under with Oliver Wilson, Miguel Angel Jimenez. But one or two players moving through the field, notably Retief Goosen, who was 6 over par after his opening 27 holes. Luke Donald flying through the field as well. So there's some good scores to be made out there today. Daniel Van Sink 1 over after 3, back at 5 under. Martin Keimer, the German, 1 under after 3, gets to 5 under par. Alistair Forsyth, 3 under after 11. All pars for Paul Casey at 4 under. Miles Tunnicliffe was out in the last few groups yesterday at 2 under.
Miguel's got a 7-iron out here. Very, very dangerous pin. 17 on 4 off the right. No room at all, and a big tree guarding the right side of this green.
The target must be the dead centre of this green, and he's hoiked it away but spins back to the edge. Not safe, but quite a long way from the hole. Actually, if you put your ball in the centre of most greens, you're never far from the hole. And a little jump and a kick and a spin, and sometimes you can end up very close.
I'll expect Robert to hit at least a club less all the way around here today, and this is the case here, out with an 8-iron. But again, anywhere near Miguel's ball is fine.
Any breeze, Paul?
Very little, Ken. Just nothing that's really going to disturb the players or come into calculations at all. But no room to the right of this pin, or even short of it.
Now, 8-iron, if he's going to hit this hard and he's drifting right at all, if he gets too much spin on this, you can screw it back into trouble. You need 1 or 2 factors to come into play. That's good. Lots of sports on your telly today for those of you with the magic red button. Finger the red button and you can watch tennis, London Sevens if you're a rugby fan. It's going on at Twickenham. French Open, tennis. Oh, that's where they get covered in red shale, isn't it? Slider. Federer doesn't play very well there. Clay, red clay. Andy Murray, he's up this afternoon. So we'll give you a nod if you just want to. For those lucky enough to have the red button, years to come you'll all have a red button, so they tell me. 2 other little things for your notice. I had a call this morning from St Dunstan's. Now they have a blind golf day, blind and partially sighted players. They're at the Wildwood Club near Horsham on the 29th of June. They've got a meeting there. A number of returning veterans, service personnel. They'll be playing there. And the English Blind Golf Association have a golf day at Hindhead Golf Club in Surrey, just on the old 287 road off Hindhead Crossroads, on the 23rd of October. So there are 2 very interesting events taking place in June and October for partially sighted golfers.
Well, Oliver Wilson, absolute perfect tee shot up the left-hand side. Left himself a great angle into the flag at 124, but Randauer, well, he's found the right rough, and it's as tough as a Blackpool landlady today with all the rain that it's had on it. It's very wet and claggy.
How far is the tee up, John? It must be a good 30 or 40, 50 yards, is it?
Yeah, they've knocked it up 50 yards. David Garland was telling me, because the fairway was very wet, the landing area. So, but what it's done is it's brought the end trap on the right into play at 320 odd yards, but it's only 270 now for tee because it's been moved up.
Did they tell the players?
They did.
Oh, thank God for that. He's saying down already. No, it doesn't need to go down. That's perfect. Delightful shot. Well, you might be in for some good stuff this afternoon. Again, the greens are back into the normal routine for most of these players. Holding fairways, certainly soft greens, receptive greens. No excuses.
Randauer, well, he's drawn a good line in the right-hand rough, 113 left. Probably just got the slightly better angle, but he does play considerably uphill, not a breath of wind out here. I expect this to be a wedge. He's got to watch he doesn't get a slight flyer where he gets a bit of moisture between the club head and the ball, but pin in the middle tier, 16 on 5 from the left. I would expect him to get this into 10 feet.
What happened to the tough Blackpool landlady then? She's had a day off, has she, on this occasion?
She's laid down, actually. It's not as tough down the right as it could have been. He's got some clumps either side of the ball, but he's drawn lucky, Peter. Have you ever met any Blackpool landladies?
I have.
They're fierce.
Yeah, they can be kind, though, on occasion. So this is a thump and hope. What big thump. Did he catch it? Did he catch all of it? Did he? Yes, he did. What a shot. Very different hole from yesterday, Ken. Moving the tee up 50 yards, eh?
My goodness.
Although the wind was sort of behind yesterday, it was still a drive and a shortish iron.
Second green, and always a tricky one to read. Minutes for a birdie. Hold a good one at the first. Sit down.
A little slower, that would have done very well. It was a good line, but just a little too quick. Good crowds again. Nearly 20,000 people came in yesterday, so the number of paying spectators up on previous years.
Carlson to right the ship.
Now he'll mark and wait for Jimenez to putt.
So many subtle little breaks on the greens. You know, that seem to be turning in from left to right and then straighten up.
There always have been here, and Sunnydale just down the road is exactly the same. On the old course, lovely course, with lots of very quick, funny little runs. Little dot identifying his golf ball if it goes in the rough. Yep. Good three.
Stand again, folks, please. Thank you.
Just got to keep concentrating. Confidently wrapped in the back for Carlson.
Now to the third green, and first to putt for a 3. Both players with short putts for birdies.
Hold the line. Oh, that's a classic example.
Edge goes 4. Interesting player, this fellow, Shane O'Donoghue. Had a word with him before his round. Let's hear from Shane.
Jody, what do you make of the conditions right now?
I think it's better than yesterday, because yesterday the wind was just too strong and it's tough to play. But with this, the course getting softer and the green getting softer, I think it'll be easy to score now.
Now, what is your focus over the first few holes of any round, in particular here at Wentworth?
I think the first 3 holes are really tough. And, if you can get away by pars on those 3 holes, or have a par, or even if 1 under, that'd be a great score. Going through that, because I think the toughest holes are the first 3 holes in this golf course.
Best of luck.
Yeah, thanks.
Yes, important to get away to a good start. This little putt here for a birdie. that's better. Oliver Wilson from the Coxmore Club. Very nice 3. And Shane, he's a busy bee. He had a word with him before he went out.
Ollie, you're in contention again. Are you happy about the conditions now? They don't seem to be as bad as we thought.
Yeah, they were talked up a bit yesterday, so I think I'm prepared for a bit worse than this, but starting to get a bit warm. No wind and no rain at the moment, so it'd be great if it stays like this.
So here we are in the final round. You're in contention again. What is your focus, especially over the first few holes? What has it been like, you know, during the tournament so far?
It's, the start round here is pretty tough, so it's always nice to get off to a good start, pretty solid, you know, hit some fairways and greens and sort of play your way into the round, and then you sort of get to the 4th and you can sort of start making a few birdies. So you know, that's the plan, just keep doing what I'm doing really. You know, it's you just got to take what comes at you around here. It's so hard, there's not one hole you can ease up on, so it's sort of 4.5 hours of hard work today.
Quick round then, 4.5 hours, Ken.
He sneaked into second spot there with that birdie.
Goosen, as you're saying, is 5 under, running out of holes, of course. But if he could have one of his blistering finishes, if he could get to 8 under, it could cause a few ripples.
Third tee up today. Carlson used a lot of 3 woods this week, and it does bring the bunkers into play.
McGinley, who suffered yesterday, driving over the top of the hill, blind tee shot. Hole goes around to the left, straight down the path with a little bit of left-hand turn. Don't want to go too far, otherwise you catch the rough, and that's caught the... Oh my good God, that's awful. He may... Look at that, you lucky little bambino. He no idea where that is, and he'll be able to fancy get out. He's hit the tee shot into the trees on the left. There's a pathway in there which he cracked down. He's there, over there, left of those bunkers somewhere down the hill. So he should be able to get it out and play his 3rd shot on the green. The good thing from McGinley's point of view, it's a par 5, and he should be able to do no worse than a par. But he was hoping, obviously, for a birdie down the hill. No wind, easily reachable in 2 today, although it's 550 odd yards. Phil Parkin is following this game. A little bit of luck there. I don't know whether you saw it, Phil. We saw that ball of McGinley's all the way, and it could be a bit of good fortune for him.
Yeah, well, he was just walking off the tee as though he thought it was safe all along, but it was always going to be right on the line. He can certainly play it out and get on in 3, but he'll have to hit a good 3rd shot if he wants to actually make a birdie. But he's got off to a nice start so far today.
Well, you see, he's been very lucky. That could have been unplayable. It's a bit dark in there, but he can chomp it out onto the fairway. Let's have a look at the lie. There's a bit of scruffy stuff, but I've got to be careful he doesn't move the one. As we lift up the camera, see, he's got to... Up we go, he can chuck it out down there. He's got to loft it about... keep it low, but get it above the ground, about 30 yards. He should be okay.
Robert's too close to the front of this bunker, so it's 9-iron recovery shot.
Hit the bank, too greedy, and he's making a little shaky start, Ken.
Oh, that's nearly a real ricket. Lucky it came out. Flick up the bank and land in your footprints, and then you're certainly on half a dozen.
Mark Warren now, he's way up ahead. He's playing the 15th hole. And, well, it's usually the case you get early starters out early and play a good round and get back into it. Now, it doesn't look too bad for me if he's got a back. Oh, he's wanting a ruling. Ooh, now then. I had a call this morning from Brian Huggett, the old great Ryder Cup player and Welsh stalwart. He happens to be the president of an artisan club, the Gresham Club, which play out of the Limpsfield Chart Club, where he used to live many years ago. Just the other side of Reigate, the east side of Reigate, a lovely part of the world, and they're celebrating their 100th anniversary.
Daniel,
nice to hear from Brian.
Ruling, okay?
He's hale and hearty, full of beans, enjoying life, and he's getting a ruling, so we're going to have to wait to see what's going on there.
142 for Miguel, the pin cut generously in the middle of this 3-tier green. Chosen an 8 iron.
Oh, love that sound, that whoosh as it's taking off. Just magnificently struck. There's how you do it. Glorious shot. Fizzing off the club face.
They're back in the normal routine now, of course. This is how they like to play, which makes all the difference, of course. Shane, that is fun. It's always fun to have a word with Ankel.
Miguel, how are you feeling? Are you relaxed?
Yeah, I'm fine. You know, it's a little cloudy day, but a little wet, but nice. I feel nice, relaxed, and doing what I do every morning before to go to the round.
What do you make of the challenge over the first couple of holes here at Wentworth? What do you like to try and get out of the course?
Just enjoy yourself. That's the more important thing. Just go on the holes, and the first 3 holes they're quite so-so, no? It's a good test, you know, because a quite long hole, especially the first and the third hole. That it's good to make par on both of them, you know. And second hole is a nice par 3, short club but tense, and it's important to go there and play. And if you go with par, I think it's good for the first 3 holes. The rest is you have to play, and you got a chance for birdies, and you hit good shots there. And
hope you get off to a good start. Best of luck.
Thank you. What I hope to. Thank you.
Lovely chap. And he's made a better than good start. Par, and he should get a birdie here. Now Carlson, on the other hand, the leader, is struggling. That's his 3rd shot. Could go back. Yes, but that's 3. Jimenez just left of the flag, under a yard away. They're in 2.
Promotes his own tournament on the European Tour, Miguel Angel Jimenez. He sits on lots of the committees. He really has put a lot back into the game.
Yeah, I'm obviously going to play it out this way. Now, can I take my address position this way so that this brush is out of the way?
Well, you have to take the stance in the last intrusive way. So you could take this stance on this way without moving the branch.
I will be moving the branch.
Well, the last intrusive way. Okay.
I'm moving the branch back this way.
Okay, let's try it on the other way.
I recommend that one.
All right, thank you. You're welcome.
Got to be so careful now, haven't you, that the rules are interpreted correctly. You must not bend or break the branches. And McGinley there, sensibly just checking out, can I do this? Can I just ease that branch away? Which makes the standing the way he is now, just pushing that branch out of the way, perfectly legal. Now he can just break, little short backswing, punch it out down the hill.
Yeah, that made it a lot easier. Should have about 170 yards from there to the front edge.
Inch perfect punch out as well. Little stream in that ditch that runs across the fairway. 2 little bridges.
Doesn't look 170 yards, does it, from the 160 odd yards from that little ditch to the green. Green slopes right to left, very receptive from here. And the flag today, well, it's on the right half of the green, so not so easy to get near the flag.
Canizares at the 7th for a birdie. The young Spaniard has beautifully done, 7 under. Son of Jose Maria Canizares.
Retief Goosen just birdied another hole, so look at him tiptoeing up the front now. If he finished 4-4-4 from here, that would create a mighty stir, I can tell you. This for a par for Carlson.
Some left to right swing in this one, Peter. Just outside the hole he needs to start this.
Bit wide. So 2 shots dropped in the opening 3 holes.
Now McGinley's 3rd shot to the par 5 fourths from 170 yards.
hit one or two pulls yesterday. He was trying to cut that and hold it into the slope, and the ball just overdrew it a little bit.
Actually, the reports in the paper this morning, he's quoted as saying, well, his putting was awful yesterday, but in all truth, he missed an awful lot of greens, missed some fairways and missed the greens, put himself in very awkward positions, could only get the ball within 7 or 8 yards of the hole and then missed the putt. So I think a lot of players tend to always blame the putting, but it was always like that. We always blamed our putting. There was never anything else. Goodness knows, no.
Jimenez to get within 1 of Carlson to get to 8 under. And shunts it in just in the left-hand side of the cup. We play down at Valderrama for the Volvo Masters. He lives just down the road from there, and he arrives in a bright red Ferrari.
Been waiting a long time back on this 4th tee. 552 yards, plays very much downhill. It's a tee shot. The players always want to get away, and they've been waiting a good 10 minutes, but the sunshine's just coming out now, which is nice. Got to hug the left-hand side of the trees. 248 to fly the bunkers down the left.
Almost compelled to draw the ball, otherwise you finish in the right rough.
Gallops off the hill, going to just go in the semi. Little bit of fluffy rough down the right.
Watch that Jyoti Randhawa hit a few balls on the practice ground this morning. He's got quite an unusual looking swing, hasn't he, John?
Yes, he has. His takeaway is very deliberate, but he knows how to get the job done. Oliver Wilson was practicing this tee shot. I stood next to him, and he was just trying to hit a soft draw. And he obviously didn't hit enough practice shots because he's blocked it down the right a little bit. But Randhawa has got a great chance to hit the fairway. As I say, you've got to hug the left-hand side, and then you'll get a shoot off the slope, off the down slope.
3-wood, easy to draw a 3-wood. Bit more loft on it.
That's gone right a bit, has it? Or not? Looked to be a bit heely. That's all right. But it had no fizz in it, no fire in it. Might just stop on the downslope a little bit. Not bad.
McGinley now for his birdie attempt. It's a fairly slow putt up the hill.
Well, a wayward tee shot, but could be a safe 5. But today, with the conditions they were, the par 4s pretty well all reachable. So it's good straight hitting, powerful hitting. You can get some birdies, 4 par 5s. That's why I think Goosen up ahead. If he can put in a strong finish, who knows?
Ken Huzaris. Low trajectory and covering the flag at number 8. Don't want to leap too far down the left there and you're in the water.
Bancic, right to lefter for him. And speed, very important.
And this is for an eagle. Wonderful second shot.
Could be, oh, just too high. He was going great guns yesterday and just slipped up a bit over the final few holes.
Three titles in the Challenge Tour. Came onto the tour with a bang last year when he won in Madeira. Slightly unexpected. Huge long hitter of the ball.
McGinley taps in. So nice start. Par, par, birdie, par. D. Headley, Mrs. D. Headley has emailed us regarding what's happened with our red squirrels. Well, it's going quite well. The Wildlife Ark Trust. Tell you about that in a minute. Here's Yeltsin. He was going like a train yesterday. That's a beautiful shot. And first 9 holes in 32, and then it all went sideways for him.
First look at Paul Casey today. His approach at the 7th. Not too much spin now. Nicely controlled. Casey 1 under for the round. 5 under in total, so it's all... they're all gathering together.
Yeah, it could be a red-hot final hour and a half, Ken, couldn't it? There's much toing and froing. Some of your favourites there down the right. That's the score for today. 2 under 2. I see much better today. The green's receptive and a cheerier dispositions. Players with actually hints of smiles on their faces. Back to the wildlife. Ark Trust, while you look at those scores. Well, they've been battling. They're based up at Consett in County Durham, and they're battling away to find a cure for this dreaded disease that the poor old red squirrels get. And they're dying out. There's a little gaggle of them near Formby, which is south of Birkdale, where we'll, or Southport, where we'll be for the Open Championship in July. And just look at their wildlife trust fund. If those of you that have got the machine to do it, very interesting situation, and they're making great strides trying to save our little red friends.
Daniel Fancic going with a 6-iron. Hole location over on the left-hand side today.
Amazing how much softer the greens are than they were on the first day. They would have pitched and pinged and run to the back of the green. See a few gnats flying in the air, so things might be hotting up in the next few weeks for the trout fishermen.
You know, it's ideal conditions out here today. These guys have been through a lot this event. Some unbelievably tough conditions yesterday, and the first day was difficult as well, but come out here with soft conditions. A few of the tees move forward. If you really get on form today, I think you can shoot a low score. And McGinley's got off to a pretty good start, 1 under par so far today. He's also going with a 6-iron.
It's a big 6, isn't it? 200 yards or more. I think they just straighten the faces up and stick different numbers on the bottom now. Years ago, our 5-irons or 7-iron today, then was hitting the ball further. Oh, look at the long length of putt there. Big prize fund here, Ken. In look at that, near £600,000. They run up for £200,000 difference. 20th prize is 54,000. 30th is 40,000, and the last player gets 8,200. So the odd silly shot, careless stroke can be very expensive.
269 for Yachty, one of the shortest tee shots I've seen down this 4th hole.
Ball leaking right, and the pin on the right. Oh, sit down.
Found a bit of asphalt there, hasn't he? Or muddy track. There's a low skimmer off the downslope, not an easy shot.
Oliver Wilson 232 off a slight downslope, going with the Rescue Club 20 degree.
Oh, it's gone the other way, hasn't it? Flat hook.
Not bad if it's a decent sort of lie coming straight up the green. We're looking for a pitch and a putt.
That's the other disadvantage with a bit of rain. Now the rough gets a bit more tangly.
Yeah.
Just looking at that prize money, I remember when Nick Faldo won in 1978, the first prize was £10,000, which was an enormous amount. And this week you get that for 65th position, £10,000.
I know.
Virtually stone the bonk last.
Talking about the bouncy conditions yesterday and everyone crying and moaning. I remember years ago we used to play at the Sandmoor Golf Club in Moortown, just north of Leeds. Sandmoor was as hard as concrete. Peter Thompson gave an exhibition there, finding the greens. I think he won by about 10 shots. Wonderful exhibition of playing on fast courses. Wonderful.
Well, like John was saying, the players need to just draw this ball, spin it from right to left a little bit here. 240 yards carry will land onto the downslope, and if it's on the right line, it should shoot way down to the bottom.
Middle of the fairway is about that sort of line.
Yeah, down the middle of that path in front of him with a little bit of draw, and it should be perfect. Now that's a little bit right half of the fairway, but it's coming down. Should be okay. Should hold. It does.
It's a great shape with the ball. He can cut it and fade it, high-low draws.
He's just a very good pro now. This for a birdie at the 9th, Yeltsin, to go to 7 under.
Maybe just had a bit of a peek at it. The opening 2 days he was dynamite on the greens, Kelson, but struggled a bit yesterday on the back 9.
Carlson.
It's very muggy out here at the moment. He's leaked that right, I think.
Just going to be all right. Got a nice shooting bounce off the downslope. How do these conditions affect how the ball flies?
Well, they're not going to be too bad today, Ken. It's still warm, which helps the ball to fly. It's when it's really cold, that's when you notice the difference in reduced distance in the flight. But it's almost perfect conditions today.
Wilson just short left here on 4. Very accessible flag, though. Chipping uphill, right to left.
Nicely judged. We're going to miss this green. Left side's a lot better than right. Green faces you. From the right side you're coming over the bunkers and down the slope, and with the flag cut on the right hand side, very tricky for Randauer.
Up to the 8th. Canizares, this to go 8 under. This is a bit of a slider. Flag, as you can see, tucked in the bottom corner. It's away on the right. See a lot of putts from the back of this green. Just ease away to the right.
Got his card for the US Tour this year. He went through the qualifying school and led that. So he's been playing. Very good. Yeah, he's been playing in the US most of the season.
His father was a good player. Did well on the senior tour over there, you know, Ken, for a while. Did you watch him? He did some very good stuff. Now, what's he going to... interesting. He's playing off this hard pan, a sort of tight, muddy patch. Could zip it.
Well, he did call the rules official over for a drop, which he could have had. But I think he's made the right choice. He can get some fizz.
Yeah, perfect. Good shot.
A nasty motorcycle accident in 2002. But came back even stronger. He uses yoga a lot. He won the Asian Order of Merit. He's been runner-up 4 times on the European Tour, yet to win.
McGinley for a birdie at the 5th. Long birdie, 2 putts he settled for. Move on. Not bad.
Playing with a Spaniard, a Chilean, a wheeler, nicely done. Couple of birdies in a row, 7 under. Oh my goodness. The pacemakers slow down and they've all caught him up.
Yeah, things changed dramatically in the first sort of 3 or 4 holes. Not dissimilar to yesterday when McGinley dropped away.
Steve Webb's has just birdied the 11th and 12th to get to 8 under.
Goosen's the danger man, I think, now, Ken, if he can finish 4-4. But first of all, can Randauer get a birdie here? Be a rather adventurous one if he can roll this in, and he does. Ho, ho, ho. Well, very nicely played. Nice pitch off that sort of hard, packed sort of muddy dirt. Zipped it off nicely.
Wilson to join Carlson. Big swing on this, probably 4 or 5 inches as he hits it very firm. Nicely read.
Very good putt.
Birdies at the third and the fourth for Oliver Wilson.
Jan Dirksen from the Netherlands, 69. That's right from him.
Okay.
Two tee shots down the right-hand side. Got a narrow entrance and the pin tucked on the right. You've just got to favour that right side with the slope on the green, but from this sort of range, anywhere on the putting surface is a good result. Miguel Angel, one of the best fairway wood players in the business.
And it's a 5-wood he's chosen, Ken. 234 yards to go to the pin. Off the downslope. Maybe just a little slider from left to right. But if he finds a putting surface, he'll be well happy from here.
Come on. Yeah, 5 a long way for a 5-wood, wasn't it? I mean, it sounded a lot, 230 odd yards, whatever it was. Paul said it's a long way, but he's left himself that awkward chip down the green, big swing right to left. Should be okay for a chip and a putt and a birdie.
Well, Robert's tee shot 320 yards down this par 5 hole, left him 2-5 to the flag, and he's chosen a 4-iron. Robert can alter the flight of his ball very well, drives it in, but I think he's going to need a high one here. High soft landing shot.
Looked a nice strike, cutting it into the slope, and that's how you do it. That is how you do it. Glorious shot. Nipped it off the little downslope.
Yes, one good hole. If he pops that in, eagle, two under par at one hole, that'll sweeten his chances, make him feel better. It's developing into a lovely afternoon.
Wilson. And stay there, and he's rolled into the hollow. Just got to drift 2 yards, 3 yards to the right, and it gets gathered up to the low level on the right. John, these aren't the fastest two players in the world.
No, I've grown a beard since I've been out here, Ken, to be honest. No, they're not the quickest in the world. You wouldn't want to get behind them if you were rushing around for a business meeting, but you know, it's some players are slow and some are exceptionally slow, and they'd slip into that bracket.
You know, Jack Nicklaus had the reputation of being a bit slow years ago. He even offered the PGA in America, well, give me a 2-shot penalty. I can't play any quicker. So he was prepared to give the field 2-up start, but they said, no, just try and speed it up a little bit. John, did you ever play in the Brabazon Trophy when you were a fine amateur?
I did indeed. I should have won it at Seton Carew. I think the year that it might have been Roger Roper won it. I collapsed like a wet paper bag over the last 3 holes.
Well, it was played last weekend down at Trevose, which and they worked so hard to get the course in excellent condition. You'd have thought it was a secret society meeting, because I didn't see any reports in the paper, which I thought was quite disgraceful, considering it's the premier 4-round medal event for amateurs.
Oh, there's some beautiful events for amateurs, and of course all these guys are desperate. I mean, the Lytham Trophy was my favourite. It was up in my part of the world, and of course you do well in those. It gets you into the international teams.
Well, I was sorry that Trevose and the Brabazon, which is such a splendid tournament, was so poorly reported. I know not why, but it was a very good event, even though it rained. But there we are. These things happen.
McGinley actually got a foot of backspin with his tee shot here on the 6th, so it shows how wet the conditions are. 148 yards remaining.
Green soft, this has got some action on it. Nicely done. Settled absolutely pin high.
Well, Miguel got a nice lie here, but this is an awkward little shot. Just got to land it on the fringe of the green and let the ball break from right to left. Judgment of pace here is critical for him. Just a hands and arms little bump forward, big break from right to left.
Yeah, it's got to come up on this kind of line.
Well, it's a little bit further away than it looks, but that was a very nicely played shot. Leaves him a little putt from right to left, just right of centre for a birdie, but Carlsen has a shortish putt for an eagle 3.
Good tee shot from Paul Casey. Looks to be on something of a charge. And here she comes, like the good old days.
Well, he was very much on a charge yesterday, Ken Casey, and then he ran into all sorts of problems. I don't know whether he chased the gold, the crock of gold too much, but well, this putt really isn't a difficult one if you know what you're about. A little bit on the right. Right-handed players usually like putts with a bit of movement from right to left, not left to right for some reason or other, but right to left. Ken, what do you fancy? Just outside the right with a little bit of pace?
Yes, I don't think it'd be easy to dangle this one out the right if you would firm and miss it on the right.
It's definitely going to swing from that right-hand side, but the quality of that second shot from Robert there, you almost feel as though you should give him this one, but there's still a bit of work to do here.
I see that fell away, and you have to say that's a chance. It's a bit of a blow, that one, although he's got a birdie. That's another shot you have to say almost dropped.
Tough two-putt this one, from the hollow up the slope. Swings quite a lot from right to left, and slow. It's bobbled a bit. Did you see it bobble?
Well, these two have got to be a little bit aware of that they don't get out of position. Slow play is an issue on the tour, and they will be put on the clock, so they just need to be aware that they don't drop behind too much.
Well, it's a bone of contention, isn't it? It always has been for years, slow play, and nobody really does anything about it. This for a birdie. Well done, nice 4, and a birdie for Jimenez. He moves away. Andrew Cotter moves in to the commentary position. Take you forward with Ken Brown.
Well, the perfect start, thank you, Peter. Perfect start for Jimenez. 2 pars, 2 birdies. Not quite so good for Carlsen, who starts bogey par, bogey birdie.
And Jyoti Randhawa will have watched Oliver Wilson's putt and give this a clatter up the slope on the damp green, and rolling, what a two, Randhawa, and birdies everywhere. The charge, the assault on Robert Carlsen continues.
Ten under Carlsen, Wilson 9 under, Jimenez 9 under, Stevie Webster coming up the 14th at 8 under, and Jyoti now 8 under. Critical putt for Wilson, and exquisitely holed.
Yeah, just like wandering round, Ken, the course, I mean, it's been softened, it's been soothed, it's a much more placid creature than in previous days. We wouldn't have had this mass assault on Robert Carlsen with the harder bouncier conditions. Now McGinley, can he roll one in? Can he? No. And when you hear the noises, the cheers, and you want to get going as well, and you think everybody's making birdies, and every missed putt becomes ever more frustrating.
Yeah, an odd tee up as well, just making scoring conditions a little easier. 1 under after 6. A good sound start for McGinley.
Okay, so even now time is running out. His charge needs to continue. That's a momentum halter. So there you go. Yesterday it was McGinley. Today Robert Karlsson has the altitude sickness of a high and handsome lead, back down to 1 shot. Oliver Wilson and Jimenez. And all the players bunching up behind him now. Luke Donald going along very well indeed, almost ruled out, along with Retief Goossen. Both those players just scrabbling to make the cut and charging onward.
205 yards back to the flag here. Miguel's got a 4-iron.
Sounded nice again. It's not too much club, is it? No, it's just the perfect club. Oh, she's done it! In the cup. It sounded sweet. We have a new leader, Miguel Angel Jimenez. Hole in one, 11 under.
And all thoughts of the tournament and who's leading forgotten for a moment in the universal handshake to a hole-in-one holer from Karlsson to Jimenez. The only shame, no car for that one. It matters not.
Miguel's got a 4-iron.
It sounded sweet, and I thought it may be half a club too many, but here she goes. 1 bounce, 2 bounces, and just snicks in the left-hand side. Well done. Our leader.
The 5th hole-in-one of Miguel Angel Jimenez, his professional career, and suddenly he's in front of his playing partner Robert Karlsson. What a way to do it. Game on in the final round here. It's anybody's title to take.
Well, he had made the perfect start, I thought, but then it was somewhere he improved on it. 4 under after the opening 5 holes, 11 under. Goossen coming up the last at 7 under. Luke Donald with the 2 par 5s to come at 7 under.
This is Karlsson to try and follow Jimenez anywhere closer, but that's down towards where Randhawa was. Well, a lot to live up to. There you go, the walk of celebration, lap of honour.
Yeah.
It's got to be worth a big fat cigar. Where is it? What a start. 4-3-3, 4-1. The sweetest walk in golf. Bar coming up the final hole of a major with a 10-shot lead. This is... Make sure you repair that pitch mark. A couple of hops and in. Will he lob it? Will he lob it? Mad scramble.
His 5th hole-in-one on the European Tour. But none would have been sweeter. Made such a lovely sound off the club face. Covered the flag all the way. Oh, in she popped. You won't have seen it go in from the tee. There's a little rise in his way, but you could have tell by the crowd that sweetest sound in golf. A clunk of the pin and in she goes.
Now it's for Karlsson to come back and for Jimenez to try and kick on. Funny hole-in-one. Do you move on from there? Do you rest on your laurels? Still a tournament to win. And plenty of time for Karlsson and the others to come back.
Got that nice pace of rhythm to his stroke. Back and then accelerates through. Got to firm up the slope. Go on, go on. Woo, woo, woo. He won't get frightened, Miguel Angel. He's been around a long while. It's his 19th appearance here. He's played golf all around the world.
Randawa up ahead. He'll have heard all the noise. That was a bit of a heave. Spin, bring it down. No. It's a quick putt to come. All change in the first few holes. We thought when Robert Karlsson headed out with a 4-shot lead that it might be a bit of a procession. Nothing of the sort. All the players and the big names gathering, Hussen and Donald, Jimenez at the head.
Just a little 3/4 pitching wedge from 126 yards. And he's really starting to impress me, Oliver Wilson.
Could be a 3-shot swing.
Down the slope, down the slope.
Wow. Good solid stroke. And now one behind.
'18th and Retief Goosen, 6 under for the round. His second, trying to get a scooter, a chaser onto the green. Go on. And that's okay. Impressive looking card, just the one bogey on it, that coming at the 9th.
Speaking to his caddy there on the left, Colin Byrne, long-time serving caddy, on the Friday night after he just squeaked home. He was 6 over with 7 holes to go in the second round. And birdie, 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 all the way back in. Finishing one over, made the cut. I said, what was the difference? He said, I had no idea. I think he just had almost given up and relaxed. And here he is.
McGinley's second shot to the 7th from 142 yards. Hole location back right. It's just a 9-iron.
For Ollie.
The tournament has been attended by large galleries all week, and the forecast was pretty poor, certainly for first thing this morning, but was cheered up. Course has softened up, and seeing some birdies.
The attitude of the players is different today as well, Ken, because going out they knew that Karlsson was in front, that they have to attack the course, and they know they can now. So the mentality of the players and the conditions all makes for target golf. Now back on the tee at the 6th, which has also been shuffled forward a bit to the front of that back tee now. It's quite tight down with the trees on the right. Oh, from hole in 1 to into the trees. Might not be quite as bad as it looks there with the length of the camera shot.
But if it flicks right, there's out of bounds over there. It just depends how it kicks off the tree. There's a bit of room there, but there are dangers. Should be okay. On the green, Randawa. Oh.
Well, the mood's buoyant in the Spanish camp, that's for sure. You never really know with Robert Karlsson. Totally focused. You would never know what sort of score he's having. Very professional, but he's got 259 to carry the bunker on the left-hand side and 282 to run into the bunker on the right. So somewhere in between there would be perfect.
It's a happy chappy with that one.
Jimenez striding up the fairway off the end of the tee, so these balls obviously okay down that right-hand side. Looking a little anxious, but would have been signalled if it was out of bounds to take 3 off the tee.
Didn't reward himself with a cigar, just a bit of gum or chewing tobacco. No reward yet. Nothing achieved yet in terms of the tournament. Now, Oliver Wilson to move within 1 of Jimenez, yes.
Well, I was talking to Oliver Wilson before he went out this morning. I heard a rumour that he was going to buy himself a nice Aston Martin when he thought he deserved it. And I said, you're a bit hard on yourself because you've had half a dozen seconds. So I said, maybe after today and the way he's playing, well, I think he'll be down the Aston Martin garage in Weybridge tomorrow.
What does an Aston Martin come in at these days? 3rd place here, you're going to get £220,000. That'll get you 1.5 of them. Now, Hoosen up ahead at the 18th. Up and down, strong finish, set a target.
Well, he's in one of those modes, he'd be thinking up and in if he can. Little chip and run. It's the sort of one that, no, it's not going to turn quite enough.
Yeah, 8 under is not, you'd imagine, going to be a winning target, but bearing in mind, as we mentioned, where he was coming up to the halfway stage, ready to pack his suitcases and slam that trunk and get on the road, it's going to be a very, very good finish.
Always a tricky bit of green to read. The back portion of the 7th. Has he read it? Ooh, no, just sort of dithers left and right. Fellow Ryder Cupper Luke Donald's just birdied the 17th to get to 8 under.
This looks a little bit more like the Paul McGinley of recent months, hitting the ball well. We saw him holing putts in the first 2 days, but not today. Hitting the ball well enough, giving himself chances, but everyone else is making birdies. All those red figures going up on the scoreboards, which you'll see around the course. And he's treading water.
Little placement tee shot down the 7th. Knock it down there, 220, 230 yards. Pitches on the downslope and rolls to the flat. Go on, keep going though. Easy to find a divot down here because lots of people drive. On the flat, he's okay.
Just avoided a big one there. Playing with Wilson. This is the other view. Smattering of applause tells you pretty much the same result, but different approach. Flying it almost all the way down to the flat. And that one looks to have nestled a bit.
And the group in front are just easing off the 7th green, and these people just going off the 7th tee. They are just okay, keeping up with the players in front. You're right, Andy, that's popped out rather nicely. Let's have a look at this hole from the virtual. The 2 tee shots. Jimenez down the right-hand side, quite a long way back. Carlson in the perfect spot.
Well, Miguel's got a reasonable lie here in the right-hand rough. 169 yards to go. He's chosen a 5-iron. Very, very narrow entrance at the front of the screen. The pin only 6 on.
Middle of the green. Those 2 bunkers, or those 3 on the left-hand side of the green, a little bit deeper than they look from the camera.
Now Retief Hoosen to finish with a flourish, a fine round. A little bit from left to right, and sort of a sorry end to a very tidy round.
76, 69, 70. The opening 3 rounds, and today nudged it round in 66.
Finishing with 2 par 5s, though. He will curse them. Still leader in the clubhouse. This man's second place out on the course. All over it. So many players attacking this pin position at the 6th. Very friendly down in that lower front left corner. Rehydrate. Ready for the challenge ahead. Turning into a cracking final round. The rain, which we expected all day, hasn't materialised. The sun's come out, and the one-man show certainly hasn't materialised either. Now, Luke Donald comes into view in the 18th.
Nice tee shot. Good angle to hit it through the little bottleneck between the traps at the front of the green.
Cheeky little eagle would set a proper target.
It's a funny dog like this 18. It almost comes back on itself, and it's very easy to lose the wind direction. You're not quite sure where it's coming from. You look at the flags around the green.
This game this season has just been treading water a little bit as well. Best finished second in the Honda Classic behind Ernie Els. His last win was in that Honda Classic in 2006. Expect a little bit better from his talent.
He's trying to fly it all the way. Oh dear, right down the banner, right down the flag. Nearly made it.
It looked like he knew he didn't have quite enough. Now, down in the soggy sand at the 6th, Miguel Angel Jimenez.
A nice lie in the bunker here for Miguel. Not too difficult a shot.
Delightful. Hours and hours of practice made quite a tricky shot look very simple.
142, Oliver Wilson. 3 under after 6 holes. Great playing in the last round. Don't go right.
Get up.
Be up, get up, he cries, and it is. Oh, stunner from Wilson. Everywhere you look, shots firing at the flags and putts rolling in. And Wilson will have that to move to 11 under.
Rendau, the pin at the back tier today. Oh, he's pulled it a little, has he? Okay, on the back ledge. Very steep tier.
Well, there you go, Miguel Angel Jimenez, 11 under, 1 shot clear. Wilson with a putt to join him, and further in the names of Luke Donald on the 18th. And just a moment ago, Retief Goosen finishing with a 66, 7 under par, and he's now with Shane O'Donoghue.
Retief, it looked like you were heading home on Friday, and then in the back 9 you fired 5 birdies, and now you shoot up the leaderboard today with a fabulous 66. What happened out there?
Well, the greens rolled much better today. You know, the bit of rain sort of seemed to help them a little bit, and yeah, I got off to a great start. You know, birding 2 of the first 3 holes, and then unfortunately a poor finish, but overall pretty happy.
Are you letting it happen now out there? Were you kind of trying to work it too hard maybe early on in the week?
Well, I've never done well around this course. Yeah, I'm just happy to be here on the weekend. Yeah, sort of yesterday played well in that wind, and today I played really well and made a few putts. So, you know, this is about as good as I can do around this place.
Good build up to the US Open in a few weeks' time. Of course, you've won that twice. A great round of 66 today. Retief Goosen, thanks for your time, and the best of luck in the summer and the months ahead.
Thank you.
He doesn't have a great record here, but a decent finish. Low. Amazing what the heights of leading a tournament can do to you. He's a great front runner, Robert Karlsson. 7 times he's won, 6 times he's won leading going into the final round, but hard going today. A par that should have been a birdie.
For his Sandy, down into out of the bunker, centre cut. What a lovely looking card.
Now Randhawa, just after tugging that second into the 7th slightly, left to righter. Oh, and rolling well. Par safely in the bag.
Well, there's been no changes to the 7th hole since I started coming here, which is in the mid-70s. Everything's identical. Wilson. Yeah. We have joint leaders. Smith and Oliver Wilson, both 11 under.
4 birdies in the first 7 holes for Oliver Wilson, and tied with Jimenez. Karlsson, who was very lonely at the top of the leaderboard at the start, suddenly one of the chasing pack. And back on the tee, here is Jimenez.
His fairway wood play is just spectacular. His 3-wood and his little 5-wood, you know, it's almost as accurate with those as he is with a wedge. Look at the 7th, 396 yards. Just hit your tee shot this little downslope. Don't want to run through the fairway into the little deep ditch, and that leaves you about 120 odd yards up the slope. 2-level green, a very severe 2-level as well. The higher level about 5-6 feet higher than the front, and the pin on the back ledge today, which is between an 8 and 10 paces deep. But a lot easier when the greens are softer to get at.
206 to the top of the downslope, 285 to run into the ditch that Ken mentioned.
Feels a little bit anxious down the right-hand side. May have to flirt with a few branches. They'll certainly come into his vision down there.
And the further you get down here, the shorter iron you're hitting. Then you've got to worry about putting excessive backspin in.
What Oliver Wilson, 4 under par after 7 holes. If you'd have offered him that at the start of the day, he'd have probably said, I'll take that. But he's on fire and just nudging it down this 8th hole, shortish par 4, and he's found the fairway.
That's a good line to attack this pin where we find Paul McGinley on the 8th green. He's been in the sand already. This for par. So close, but another step backwards for McGinley. Back to 6 under.
Just a positional tee shot, this. Pin on the left-hand side. Important to find the fairway, otherwise you do bring the water in the front of the green into play if you get a bad lie.
Absolutely fine. And neither of these two players, as we're mentioning, the quickest. Certainly Randhawa doesn't look in any particular hurry. And Donald from this bunker at the 18th.
Well, normally one of the best in the business out of sand if he's got a decent lie. And that's good, that's very good. If you want to hold bunker shots, that's the way you've got to play them. You've got to get them running at the hole. Very rarely do they go in if you pop them miles in the air, and that was delightfully played. And what a round he's putting together. Have that for a 65.
That recorded a no to finish the job and set that target. Well done, very well done, Luke Donald. A round of 65, and what a way to finish. Birdie, birdie, birdie. Not a blemish on that card. Not quite good enough, you suspect, and what might have been, but a grand finish from Luke Donald.
There he is, currently tied for fourth. 72, 69, 73, 65 today for Luke Donald, as steady as ever. 9 under. Well, he won't be going home.
Should be his best finish in the BMW Championship. 7th last year. Lots of sport on this weekend, though. The Sevens at Twickenham, the penultimate round of the IRB Sevens, drawing to a conclusion, and French Open tennis, both on BBC Interactive. Press your red button. You can see Andy Murray opening his campaign in that clay court slam at Roland Garros.
Yep.
Well, from the perfect position in the fairway for Miguel, he's left 139 yards to go. Doesn't sound very far, but it's up the hill and a very, very tiny target to aim at. Pin on the top shelf on the right-hand side, and only some 8 paces from carrying the bunker to the flag. Got to have his wits about him here.
Any breeze, Ealsey?
Absolutely no breeze whatsoever, Ken, and this is a 9-iron for Miguel.
Right. Play up.
Most of his shots coming out of the heart of the club face. I think he's got 6 brothers, and a lot of them are involved in the professional game.
Both players 149 from the flag. Randauer going with the 9-iron, hole only on 10-3 from the left.
So a hearty carpet of a divot and just coming up shy.
I'd have it slightly into wind and what have you, but still. Same shot you hit on the last, I think. Where are we aiming up at? Okay.
Well, if you wanted to play from this 8th fairway, Oliver Wilson couldn't have walked down here and placed it better. It's a sweet Sunday at the moment. Great flag for him to get at. Draw it in from right to left. The green does tilt that way, so it'll take it down to the flag. 9-iron.
Starting right, trying to rescue at the right hand. Is it coming back? I assume it went into the sand, but there's a little pond that comes into play, and if you leak 6 paces left of that flag and you get the wrong bounce off the mound, you're in the water down the left-hand side of the green.
So Wilson Jimenez still tied at the top. We've heard from Retief Hussain after his fine round of 66. One better, Luke Donald lifting himself up to 9 under par, and he's with Shane.
Luke, a fabulous round of 65, a flawless card, really. What happened out there? It seemed to go very well.
Well, I think we're blessed with the weather in the end. I think I woke up this morning thinking it was going to be a wet and horrible day, but it turned out to be beautiful out there, and the greens were obviously a lot softer with some of the overnight rain, and just made the course play a lot easier. And yeah, I played very nicely today, and obviously nice to finish with 3 birdies.
When we spoke earlier on in the week, you indicated that you have been making a few changes. You seem to feel very comfortable out there today?
Yeah, 2 out of the 4 rounds I really felt very much in control. You know, not quite there, but every week I feel like I'm getting better and progressing, and that's the main goal, is to get better every day, and you know, have rounds like these and build on the confidence, and hopefully, you know, take me on to a good finish this week. Will give me a boost for the upcoming majors.
So the US Open obviously on the horizon, but overall a very good week for Team Donald.
Yeah, very happy, thanks.
Good on you, well done.
Cheers.
Everyone's happy, apart from Robert Karlsson.
A few handy Ryder Cup points as well for Luke Donald, not currently in the top 10 of our Ryder Cup lists.
Well, Robert's got a reasonable lie here, but he's just got to pop this one up in the air. There is a little shoulder and a downslope that if he doesn't pitch it far enough is going to shoot the ball on. But Robert does lead the scrambling statistics on the European Tour this year, so shouldn't be too much of a problem for him.
Got to get the right contact here. Not easy. Not bad.
And Wilson did find the sand front right of the 8th, which is a real miscue from where he was in the fairway. Now recovers well. Recovers very well. He'll stay at 11 under. You have to do. Make a mistake, don't compound the error. And the nerves are frayed and the adrenaline's flowing. He's finished second 3 times this year. He knows what it takes to be up there, but it's not quite complete the job. Perhaps today, perhaps. Still chasing his first tour victory.
This will help Robert Karlsson. Without doubt, one of the toughest bits of green to read. I think it's a tad from left to right, but it seems to wobble all over the place.
Well, Miguel single putted every green apart from the 5th, in which he had a hole in 1, according to my book. So this would be for his 6th putt in 7 greens. Come on, Miguel.
This will give you an idea of the line. Magic, magic. Beautiful roll, right in the centre of the cup. 12 under. 5 under for 7 holes. Impressive.
He does like those BMW events. He used to have a bit of a history, Jimenez and Karlsson. Hong Kong Open at the end of last year. They're playing together and Jimenez came out on top. Randhawa's birdie attempt at the 8th. Oh, goodness. When he hasn't holed them, he's been ever so close. He is reading them well and stroking the ball well.
Well, Robert, come on. Pop this one in, regroup. Who said this wasn't a mental game?
No, that was started wrong side of the hole. He's given it a flash. Well, Peter Alliss is back in the box. Very interesting, isn't it, how it's all shaping up. A few putts going in.
It is, Ken, and there's some very good golf being played today, which I'm sure a lot of players will be very happy about after the respite of the hard, hot, bouncy conditions that prevailed the last couple of days or so. Trying conditions. Karlsson struggling.
hanging on.
It's amazing the difference from day to day as it was for McGinley going from Friday to Saturday, and now Carlson going from Saturday to Sunday. Different players, body snatchers somewhere.
Oliver Wilson at the 9th. Drifting away into the rough. May not be too bad. The ball depends on the lie.
No, he pointed that way.
Now Alejandro Cañizares. He gets something going in the back 9. Judged it well. Lovely shot, and should move to 8 under.
Romero. A great run of birdies early on, and he's done it again. This is more like it. They're back in the comfort zone now. The golf course is has softened up. Look at that start there, marvellous after dropping a shot at the first hole, finishing 4-4. Fantastic round, 2 drop shots to 67.
And after that pitch in the 12th, it is a birdie for Cañizares. He does move to 8. Little charges on from all the players.
Jimenez now leading at the top of the leaderboard, being chased, and a lot can happen yet before we shut up shop for the night. And 1 or 2 players I hear are rather agitated about certain comments we've been making, or I've been making over the last few days, about the conditions that prevail. Jimenez smacks one away at the 8th, suggesting that I'm denigrating their skills, as if I don't know really what it's about. I can assure you, gentlemen, I've played on courses like this course before watering came in and when the wind still blew, and you have to change tack. You have to make provisions for different kinds of play. I realise how difficult it is, certainly perhaps more than most, having honed my trade on exhibition matches and all sorts of funny little courses dotted around every county in the country, and you learn how to play different shots. Not for the rewards you're getting, but I can assure you a great admiration for those that can play and those that adapt. And we're seeing the results of that today, when conditions prevail that most of you enjoy and have only known these sort of conditions. You play beautifully. We wish them well, and we hope we'll all go on for a few more years yet, appreciating and having friendly discussions about what's right and what's wrong. But it would be doing our viewers a disservice if we didn't attempt to bring them into the situation and tell them how it is.
I think everybody's super.
Toady. But it was tricky. You know, it was difficult. When I mentioned this morning, one of the greatest exhibitions of all time was at Sandmoor Golf Club, when Peter Thompson won the Yorkshire Post or the Yorkshire Evening Post. There, the ground was like concrete. Just the greens did. If you missed the greens, you went 50 yards away. Coles round this course was a marvellous tactician, but it was a different world, a different game.
See, certainly the players are in a much more comfortable environment today, because the conditions now, after the overnight rain and the rain this morning, are much more like the target golf.
And everything is uniform now. The bunkers have to be the same, the pace of the greens. We didn't experience that. We got on with it, right or wrong. We did our job, made a living best we could. Good attendance, great 52, nearly 53,000 spectators at the first 3 days, and today's take on top of that. So I think that'll be a new record.
Just over 190 yards for Yachty. Great position at the left of 9 here. There's a bit of breeze now, just following them. Second shot plays a fraction downhill, but it's a very accessible flag. On the right-hand side, 5-iron.
That back foot tethered and fires it in well, but perfect for distance. He's a fiddler, and Playing with Wilson as well, who likes to have a little ponder about his swing and set things, all the angles.
Been a bit fortunate on 9. Oliver thought he'd driven it in the bunkers, chatting with his caddy Richie that used to caddy for Greg Owen, and he's hopped it. 162 he's left, but he's got a few bits of carpentry in his way. He needs to get this up quickly and cut it a fraction from left to right, but the breeze is helping.
There you go, airmail. Not going to get there. Bouncing, bouncing, bouncing. Up and down will be required to remain within 1 of Jimenez.
Alistair Forsyth, Scotland's new number 1, 72, 3 72s and a 70, steady playing from Alistair.
176 yards with a 7-iron for Robert to this tight left-hand pin.
Very good.
Well, from a yard closer, Miguel, 175 yards. He's gone with a 6-iron. Can't afford to go left. Water all the way down the left.
Green tilts a bit right to left. If you get a little bit of movement, it should come down the hill like that. Middle of the green, if you get a little bit of side spin, you're in luck. But you certainly don't want to flirt with the flag when it's in that position over there. A little bit of a miscue and you're in the water or down in Dingley Dell. Years ago, we used to have a big television stand right in the middle of those. Well, the woods weren't there; they were the little shrubs. But 120 foot high, great gantry. Used to haul dear old Henry Longhurst up there, outside ladders, and a rope under his arms, and used to get him up there. And used to see about 7 holes from a camera perched on the top. And then they invented the thing which is in television books, and also the Longhurst ladder. When they put up stands, they said we need 4 Longhurst ladders, which were steps with a handrail on. And certainly in ABC television in America, they always refer to going up sort of grandstand, whatever, Longhurst ladders. So the old boy's name lives on in many ways.
They used to put a rope under his arms.
Yeah, and he used to climb up a ladder like, you know, an ordinary builder's ladder. And it was 100 feet more, 130 feet in the air, swayed about 4 feet, you know, open to the elements. It was amazing, really. It was
tough little pitch shot here for Oliver. He's got about 35 feet of green to work with. He just pitches into an upslope, though, which will kill it. Doesn't want to give it too much. It'll career past the flag. Third shot.
See, greens are much more receptive. And you can get back to playing your normal modern game. On little bumpy ones and shuffling them up, trying to get them close. You can play within your own compass.
He was part of that Walker Cup team in 2003 that won at Ganton, which has a home in Augusta as well. College in the States from Mansfield. Very solid, consistent performance. Crept up into the top 100 of the world, 75th in the world now.
Kenny Zaris. Representing the Valderrama Golf Club. Oh, that sat down. Left him a long way short. You're quite right.
That's his fellow countryman Jimenez at the top and going along very nicely indeed.
Think about sparkling round from Luke Donald, 65, and that's, well, it could be very close at the end of play.
Well, that was a super shot from Miguel, just taking all the trouble out of play, gives himself another birdie opportunity.
Going left. And that's a bit speedy down there, nearly off the green.
Shrugs his shoulders and...
Steady on, Governor. I'm on a bonus here. Paul Lawrie, 69 today. Nice to see Paul Having a nice 4 days, 69, 72, 73, 70. Birdie now for Randauer.
He knew as soon as he hit it that he hadn't hit it. This was the green that was a bit soggy after the opening round, left a sprinkler on.
Quick right to left for Robert. 2-putted every green so far.
Now, yesterday those were going in and with a bit of pace as well. Amazing what the final day flutters can do for you. The only one of the top 12, 13, 14 players who is over par today. Started with that 4-shot lead and now 3 shots behind his playing partner.
Wilson for his par 4. That misdirected tee shot. Couldn't get on for 2. Pitched up to here. Good for Richard Green out in 32. Starts home with a couple of pars. 3 and a 4. It's a 7 under. Wilson, of course, out in 31. Sparkling out with 9.
Now here's a big putt after that racer for his birdie.
A bit unlike Jimenez. It was charged a bit down the hill. A quick putt. Things can change so quickly. It's suddenly they bunch up again if this goes in, which it does. Tie at the top. Oliver Wilson and Miguel Jimenez. Luke Donald now in the clubhouse, safely having a cup of tea with his feet up maybe. 900, good position this for a par. Falls in, that's okay.
Stays within 3 of the leaders. Leaders we say plural now because Wilson is tied with Miguel Angel Jimenez. Jimenez who picked up 5 shots in his opening 7 holes with a hole-in-one at the 5th, but gives one back at the 8th. And Luke Donald, after that 65, creeps ever nearer. He will not be going anywhere. Retief Hussain also a fine 66 for a decent finish. And look at those scores on the extreme right-hand side. So many under par, and if you're over par, as in Daniel Vancic, you will tumble back down. Paul McGinley, nothing much happening for McGinley today, and back out of the top 10, the halfway leader. Paul Casey needs more. 5 under with holes fast running out.
Just down the right-hand side of the 9th fairway, watching the final group of the day, Robert Karlsson and Miguel Angel Jimenez. And that's the first thing that really has gone right all afternoon for Robert. Seeing he's playing partner 3-putt, so he's still well in there. 3 big par 5s still to come. Got to find the fairway here, though.
Such an elegant swing for a man of 6'5". Pounds it down. They're just tottering towards those bunkers on the right, but fine. You can see all those bunkers marching up the right-hand side of the fairway now. What little breeze there is behind today, so it takes a little bit of the sting out of this very long par 4. And the green is slightly submerged and soft. And you can fly the ball all the way into the flag.
4 bunkers down the right, 2 down the left, and lots of green grass in the middle.
He doesn't miss many fairways. Very good with the long shots. Just a very good player, consistent.
Into the back 9 now, 188 for Oliver down the hill, festering around with his swing and his setup, but anywhere on the green's good here at 10.
Settles his right hand onto the grip like Garcia at times, flapping it back in, and that's a very, very good shot from Oliver Wilson, right down the flag.
Yeah, once he gets settled, he's got an excellent looking swing. Tall, slim, powerful.
Randauer, well, he knows the line to the flag. A little bit of breeze just fluffed up into his face, set off a little bit right.
Entirely different looking swing, but he gets the results. This is the very far end of the course. I want tucked away up in the corner. The turn for home. The 12th green is also in the far corner.
Alejandro Canizares rattles in that par putt. Facially, you can see Jose Maria Canizares a bit there, but he was more of a burly, dishevelled looking figure, kind of Jose Maria Canizares. A little bit unkind, perhaps.
Well, I wouldn't say dishevelled, no. Don't want to get another rude letter. If you've just joined us, you missed a little treat. The fellow on the right there, striding out, reading the book there, Ángel Jiménez, on the 5th tee, teed it up nicely, and it was over 200 yards. He spanked it away. Now just watch the ball land and hop a couple of times, and this is where the good fortune comes in. 1, 2, 3, and straight in. A little touch either way, it wouldn't have gone in, but it did. A hole in one, so he'd started with a couple of pars and birdies and an eagle. Well, what a start.
Awful lot of people in the clubhouse to buy drinks for.
And there he is, tied now at the top of the leaderboard with Oliver Wilson. And they are 2 shots ahead of Luke Donald, who's completed his round 65. Robert Carlson, the overnight leader. And Canizares. Canizares is 8 under, along with Randauer.
Feels it off the right there, yeah? Well, it's good or straight, I think.
Alejandro Canizares up the hill, par 3, 14th. Does he turn that one over? No, not at all. One hop up. No. And start to engage reverse gear. Back down the slope it will go. Wilson and Jimenez tied 11 under. Luke Donald, I wonder. Possibly not quite good enough, but Carlson, who led by 4 at the start of the day, suddenly playing catch up.
181 yards to go for Miguel. 7-iron, downwind. Tight pin on that front right-hand side, but plenty of green to the left for Miguel to aim at.
Well, he was worried for a moment, certainly, but hop in from the bunker, and now very holeable putt. And things go for you. They go for you. 4-3-3, 4-1, 4-3.
Yeah, just 3 putts at the 8th. When it didn't look to be in danger at all of dropping a shot, but it did. Now Carlson's got to steady the ship. Good result. And you can see the flag there, absolutely limp. Just a little touch of wind up in the top of the trees.
Now to go 9 under. Shaved the edge of the hole with his last couple of efforts, and again, so close, so close. Eventually they'll start to fall, worry not.
Wilson for a birdie at the 10th. This for the lead.
Should move just a little bit from the left. It's a tough putt to read, but the man's on fire. Great four at the last. This to get to 5 under for the day.
Safe par.
Lots of sport on the BBC today. Got the Rugby Sevens, that penultimate round of the IRB 7 Series next week. They're at Murrayfield today at Twickenham. And French Open Tennis, both on BBC Interactive. Andy Murray, the British #1, is on court now in his opening round against Jonathan Iseric, the 17-year-old French and former world junior #1. And a clay court specialist. Beware Andy Murray. But that's all on Interactive. Let's stay with us for a final round of golf, which is bubbling away nicely.
Well, Robert Carlson for a birdie here. 9-iron second shot it was from 150 yards. Quick down the hill and just brake to his left when it reaches a hole if it runs out of speed.
The poise has gone, the frustrations there.
Well, Miguel's caddy, Paul Smith, this time last year was caddying for Paul Broadhurst in the final group. And unfortunately, Paul had a poor day, slipped down the field. But so far today, his current boss, Miguel's going along nicely as we wait for the train to go by on the left-hand side.
There's also a good luck arm around Wentworth. Carlson, one of those today. It's a very different. The conditions are very different. And his game altogether different.
Well, as I walked back, I read this one as straight, but nobody reads them much better than Miguel. This to be out in 5 under.
Big swinger, just not enough speed to keep it straight up. It's still a very good outward 9, helped by a 1. Of course, at the 5th, 3 putted the 8th, but still a very good outward 9. Just 9 holes left. Tied at the top at 11 under.
Driver of Oliver Wilson. His caddy departs the scene, always make sure he's lined up nicely. Another fairway found. Lovely hole, the 11th.
Now the 11th, little dogleg right to left, new bunkers up the left-hand side. Just over the pathway there in the middle, that area there used to get, where that ball's landing, used to get very wet. Wet water used to hold there, but heather up the left-hand side. Green just out of the player's view, so you've got to judge the distance. They know how many yards it is up the green. Green slopes, as you